Good morning, everybody. There is the bell. It looks like it is 8:30 a.m. Central Time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time here, and we have the SPY doing quite well in pre-market so far, so we'll have to see how she ends up doing here at market open, but so far today, it's been actually looking pretty hot, and, I will say it looks like a pretty good play to the upside today so far. I hope stocks keep going up, but, it is pulling down now that the bell has rung. We'll have to see how like Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, and the big three do. But so far Tesla's been kind of gapping up today. Looks like Apple is up a little bit. Microsoft's up. So hey, I'll take it, guys. Hopefully we keep blasting to the upside like this. Good morning, George, Keisha, Vicky, Jamie, and E. Thank you guys so much, of course, for joining up here today. George says China stocks are ripping. Let's see good old Baba today. Whoa, they had a nice gap up, as these China stocks sometimes do, just like they did Tuesday morning. But yeah, it's having a nice gap up to around $110. Sean says, you didn't have to do that, DraftKings, and puts a frowny face. Oh, I guess because of that red candle. But man, I hope DraftKings can break $13 today, Sean. That's a pretty big level for them. But yeah, Baba's right around 110 here. I think that's going to be a pretty big resistance here today. I know 110, it's been pretty big over the past couple months. It's not like it's been like a super huge level or anything, but there has been like a few bounces right around 110. So hopefully we can break up through that today on Alibaba. I will say Baba is having a pretty nice gap up. I'm not sure that these gap ups always necessarily signify that the stock will keep ripping all day long. Sometimes we do see some pullbacks after that initial gap, so be a little careful with that. George says, take a look at LI and XPEV. Whoa, yeah, I know those two had been doing good over the past few days even, and yeah, they continued up today, really broke out above. I had a resistance there right around like 37.50, and yeah, they blasted above that with LI. XPEV is the same exact way, just had that nice gap up through that big resistance there, so glad to see that with LI and XPEV. George, that is very nice. I hope Neo is kind of doing that, and they were, but they're not getting that nice movement up now that the market opened. They are slowly but surely starting to trade back to the downside ever so slightly here. But yeah, LI and XPEV were looking fantastic there. They actually have some nice green momentum, which is pretty good, considering how stocks are most days. Let's see what else we have moving. I know Robinhood was looking good. Someone was talking about that one in the Discord. Yeah, Robinhood looked pretty hot there. It broke $8 for a second, and it's just consolidating. I hope Robinhood can break out. Let's see who asked. Let me go back and look. Let's see. We had Johnny Yang saying, he said hood's up in pre-market. He says, what's a good level for it to break for calls? And I'm sitting here looking at it. And I was looking at $8 or like $8.02 this morning, and it flew right above that and now started coming back down. We'll have to see if it can keep going up or not, but that volatility is definitely there on Robinhood today in the shorter term anyways. But looking at my watch list here, guys, we have a lot of stocks up today. Lots of stocks up over 3%, which is great. I see Square flying up on my watch list here, breaking up above $62, almost up above resistance there, around 60-80. Wow, that is a big break, guys. That is a big run with Square. I mean, if this thing runs, we might see a bit of a breakout to the upside. I'm going to post like a bit of resistance right there because, man, yeah, we are right on it. Hopefully we can get that nice breakout to the upside. Glad to see that nice movement. Let's see what else we have running up over 3% today. Good old DraftKings. I know they were up 3%, but they are almost back up to $13 now. Back up to that pre-market resistance level that we talked about. $13 is going to be a big level for DraftKings, guys. If it breaks that, watch that for a good trade today. We have OXY up 4%, actually. This one's flying up in a big way. Someone posted some news about this one in Discord, too. They said Berkshire bought an additional 9.6 million shares of Occidental Petroleum, raising its stake in the energy producer to 16.3%. Occidental rallied 2.9% in pre-market action. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy to see Buffett and just Berkshire continuing to buy OXY up. JD posted that in Discord, by the way. So if it's wrong, you can go after him. I have not seen that article personally, but I'm sure that it'll be on OXY's news tab this morning. And there it is. Petroleum shares rise after Berkshire Hathaway adds stake in company. Buffett discloses purchase of 9.5 million shares. There we go. So sounds good for OXY. They're still above Buffett's average price, which is pretty good. So glad to see that today. But even though we are seeing some growth stocks move up today, guys, it looks like the SPY itself is slowly but surely coming back down. We got right up to that 378 resistance in pre-market, and now we are consolidating, slowly moving right back to the downside. Carlos Serrano says, thoughts on NVIDIA, NVDA. Yeah, let's check it out, Carlos. Thanks for joining up again. Glad to see you here back from yesterday. Yeah, but it's looking pretty, it's looking okay. I mean, honestly, for a longer term trade, I think it's looking okay still. In the shorter term, though, I'm definitely not too bullish on it. It's starting to turn back over a little bit here. You can see on the max daily chart how high NVIDIA got and how low we're now at. I will say that 150 support seems pretty promising as long as that can play out well, Carlos, but it's going to be a tough support to play. I will say NVIDIA, I think, is going to be a tough stock to judge over the next few weeks, obviously, with rates rising and stuff. The value of tech stocks should go lower, but the market has been pricing that in. So, there's just a lot of different opinions right now regarding these stocks. Everyone's trying to call the bottom, but it's very hard to. I would say today, Carlos, if you're looking to day trade it, I would say it doesn't look like a good trade to the upside or the downside. If anything, I would probably play it down right now, but that's just because it's obviously fell off a cliff at market open. It's a tough one to trade today, I think, with NVIDIA. I'm liking setups better with like DraftKings, AMD, stocks like that. If those stocks can break above these resistances, then I think they could be a little bit hotter. At the same time, there's a pretty good support on DraftKings around 1250, and if we fall through that, then I think that DraftKings could end up falling down a little bit. Whereas I feel like that with NVIDIA here, obviously, like I said, we could play it down. If you play this breakout to the upside above 166, I think it can be good. But playing it down, I feel like there's just too many supports. But that's my thoughts intraday with NVIDIA there. Yeah, AMD honestly is the same exact setup, so I don't really like that one either. I was really hoping these stocks would go up and start breaking some upper resistance levels. I thought that would have been a cool thing to see, but they did not break out today. Unfortunately, Carlos, they pulled back on us. George says Tesla driving below 700. Let's see. Yes, it is. They hit 720 pre-market. Came flying right down there. Yeah, that is a big drop there, George. So, yeah, definitely not the type of move that you want to see out of Tesla today. It was pretty good, I think, in pre-market to see him holding around 700. They popped up initially in pre-market, and then yesterday, right before the end of after hours, they were bouncing around 700 too. So I feel like 700 is definitely a big support there, George, and it sucks to see it going below that. We might end up having a bit of a red day today. Like if we look at Tesla, they've been doing pretty well the past few days, so one red day sprinkled in would not be too surprising. Same thing with DraftKings. It's had a great week so far. If we do go red today and consolidate, I'm not going to be too upset compared to the movement that we've been having. Like Zoom is a great example. We were at 104. We ran straight up to 120 within a few trading days. Now we're just having like a big consolidation day. That doesn't mean Zoom's upward trend is over. It just means that, right now, obviously, we're going to have to see if Zoom can hold this 110 support. And it's selling off today, maybe for another day, but it could still end up coming back up in a pretty good way, I think. You can see that the low on Zoom was all the way down on $80 lately. Now we're up at 111. So we've definitely been having some pretty good movement, at least. I know it's not everyone's favorite movement today, but it's okay. It's okay nonetheless. But yeah, let me know what stocks you guys are watching. Of course, we'll have Powell speaking again in about 20 minutes here, so don't forget about that one. Obviously, that'll be a pretty big event today. He's going to be testifying before the House. Yesterday, he was testifying before the Senate, so I know that was even a pretty big day. The market actually ended up doing quite well, despite everything going on. with Powell and stuff like that, the market held up. He wasn't necessarily saying anything amazingly good about the market either. He just kept saying that the Feds would keep reiterating. Obviously, they would just keep trying to make rates go lower. He pretty much said that they're going to keep trying to, or not make rates go lower. They're going to keep raising rates to try to push inflation lower. There we go, got it out. But yeah, they're going to keep raising rates, push inflation lower. He just kept saying they're going to use their tools and do everything that they can to help push that inflation back down. Because obviously they said that consumers are getting hit pretty hard, and it's obviously not a very good time for people in the economy right now, especially the average consumers. Obviously, if you have, $10 million, obviously the cost of milk isn't really, your biggest worry right now. So, I know that there's everybody has different issues right now, and obviously inflation has been just insane. But yeah, they did kind of say that they were gonna, I guess, look into those numbers there. So very nice to see that. I'm glad that they kept reiterating that they would keep trying to push inflation back down. Although a lot of the senators were getting angry with Powell yesterday. I know some people in here were watching yesterday, and man, they were getting angry with him. And then after he talked, Biden ended up talking and saying that they want to. He's calling on Congress to suspend the federal tax on gasoline and diesel fuel right now, and he's calling on states to do it too. But obviously, I think he could maybe get Congress to do it easier than the states. But yeah, this is pretty crazy to see that they're going to get rid of this federal gas tax. I don't know how much revenue that's going to make the government miss out on, but like we're what are we doing here? We're going more into a deficit here with China, and obviously the U.S. has a ton of debt right now. And what are we going to do? We're going to stop our tax money coming in to make it worse. I mean, hey, I'm all for cutting taxes, but whenever I'm looking at the stupid federal gasoline tax or whatever, I'm not really too worried about that. That little 18-cent tax. Like, sure, that's gonna help gas prices by 18 cents or something, but it's just I think we're just hurting the economy more. Like Mike said in yesterday's video, we're just kicking the can down the road. It's not like it's not like this federal gas tax being abolished is going to really help anything. What would help consumers, though, is maybe having like a tax credit for gasoline this year. If they allowed everybody to maybe claim gasoline on your taxes, then that would be a lot better. But they're obviously not going to do that, because talk about losing out on tax money, they'll lose out on way more. But see, that would actually help consumers. This little 18-cent a gallon thing, it might make Biden look good or something, but obviously 18 cents a gallon, guys. I mean, gases went up at where I live like $3 a gallon. So like, 18 cents is not like not too much, I'm not gonna lie. So nothing crazy with that. Let's see /RB, which is the gasoline futures. Yeah, they're up to 375. I believe I have a chart up here. Yeah, here we go. Chart of the retail gas prices right here. You can see how much they've been really going up here, up to $5.10 right here. That is not good to see, guys. That is a terrible, terrible number. Let's go see what other economic indicators we have here on our Y charts. Y charts is pretty cool, guys. If you guys have never heard of Y charts, you can go on here and see charts of all types of different data, tons of different categories. Like we could go to just randomly pick one. I'll pick a random one that people might be interested in, like house prices. So, for example, you could do that. Alberta new housing price, British Columbia, Calgary. Like I could look at anywhere really. Canada, that's Canada. Where's the U.S.? Case-Shiller home price index, European housing price index. There's all types of stuff. Slovakia. Like I could look at the Spain housing price index right now. Why don't we look at it? Let's see what it is. Definitely been going up, but little weird chart there. But let's see what else we have here. Here's the U.S. Is this the U.S.? Nope. Here we go. U.S. housing price index. Been going up. Real housing prices. They have U.S. house price index, U.S. real house price index. I don't know which one is better, I guess. Let's go back to those economic indicators, because the things I really like to look at on this are stuff like consumer sentiment, for example. You can see, like, we can look at a consumer sentiment chart right now on like a 3-year chart, and you can see how, like, how low consumer sentiment has really been going here. I mean, we were at, like, obviously it's down 41% over the past 3 years. It's over the past year. Over the past 3 years, it's down 48%. So yeah, the market has definitely been shaky lately. That is for sure. Let's see. Santi says, "Good morning, Tom. How you doing this morning?" Yeah, good morning. Thanks for joining up here. Looking at some economic indicators today. Been watching the SPY and some of these growth stocks. The SPY's just been sitting here pretty stagnant so far. I was hoping to see some stocks start popping back up, Santi. It looks like a lot of guys are talking about BABA here this morning. We can see BABA actually did have that nice breakout up above 110. Santi, we were talking about that for a while this morning, and yeah, it started really blasting up, so glad to see that. I'm hoping DraftKings and a few other growth stocks can start breaking above some of these resistances from yesterday. I hope that we can see some nice pushes back through there. Cameron says, when did Powell talk? He talked yesterday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time in the morning, and then he's talking again today in about 14 minutes, Cameron. So, yeah, keep that in mind. He will be talking in about 14 minutes. He talked yesterday. He gave a testimony to the Senate yesterday and a committee. Today, he's giving a testimony to the House and a different banking committee, I believe. So definitely be on the lookout for that later. That will be a pretty big event coming up. But yeah, thanks for the question there. And yeah, Santi, having a good morning. Hopefully you're having a great day as well. J Deep says BABA 113 calls went from 100 to 170 in 3 minutes. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad to see that BABA had that big break, but yeah, that's nice. 100 to 170. That's a nice 70% pop there, J Deep. So glad to see that for you. Carlos says BABA popped. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely having a nice break here. Glad to see it running up. We had that nice breakout, and I was really waiting for that big break above 110, and it looks like when it finally came, guys, we had a huge explosion, believe it or not. So pretty interesting. It looks like it's also about to break 112 here. So maybe we'll see a nice secondary leg to the upside here. That would definitely make for some nice movement. And who knows, maybe some day trades here. But there it goes. There we go, guys. Up above 112, all the way up to 112.50 already. Yeah, this is, I'll tell you what, BABA does have some pretty good momentum this morning. Yeah, it is having a lot of good upwards movement here. Let's see, like, NIO. Yeah, NEO, it's not really doing as well. LI's holding up better, at least. XPEV. How about JD and Baidu? Those are like the more realistic China stocks. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, JD is having a pretty good bounce back up. They got really close to that $60 support with JD. I've had $60 posted on my chart for a long time, and yeah, they are consolidating here quite a bit. Looks like they might try to pop back up here soon. Yeah, Baidu is actually, I like the move with Baidu too. I'll take that up 4.2%. Yeah, that's actually a pretty nice little pop here, guys. I don't know if you guys are noticing this with Baidu at all, but kind of like an inverse head and shoulders play. There's a pretty big support here around like 140 that it just continually keeps bouncing off of. But yeah, glad to see that Baidu is getting that nice momentum, just like BABA is. And looking at BABA on the daily, even they have like a bit of like an inverse head and shoulders pattern going, in my opinion. This looks actually pretty bullish, guys. I don't know if you guys are into BABA at all right now, but this play looks pretty bullish. And I hate to buy BABA up at the top, like we're getting really close to resistance, but wow, I will say that daily setup, I'm really liking that, guys. I mean, that is looking pretty spot on. I'm thinking we could see a pretty good run up to 120 at least. I would think we could get up to maybe like 130 or something with the way this thing is starting to set up here. George says DraftKings about to pop. Let's see, DraftKings. I know she's right up there around that resistance. Yeah, right at $13. There we go. It got up to $13.04. I bet you it starts going. BABA's running. We're starting to see some stocks pop up here. Santi says, how's GLD looking to y'all? Let's see. GLD, good old gold. The gold ETF today. Let's see, 1 year daily. Yeah, I mean, it's not doing the best, not the worst. It's bouncing a lot around like 168 to 170. Definitely not having the type of move that you really want, but I mean, it's okay. It's definitely not like I said, not the move that you really want to see or anything like that, but it's holding up okay today. If whenever you go into the 5 minute chart, it looks a little bit better, Santy. Personally, if I was gonna day trade this one, I don't think I would day trade it really to the upside or the downside today. It might go to the upside. I don't know. I don't really love this setup this morning too much. It had a very weird move, and yeah, it's not my favorite setup in the market. Whereas if I look at something like DraftKings, it's right around that resistance, and if it breaks, it might make for a pretty good breakout play right there. But yeah, I really hope Baba consolidates a little bit today, guys, because I'd love to get in on this one. I think this one could really keep going. I'm not saying it's going to keep going today or not, but man, I'll tell you, that daily chart setup is so bullish right now. Even if it doesn't continue today, like I said, I'm kind of looking at some type of play here on Baba pretty soon. I think this is looking pretty hot. J Deep says Oxy is trying to turn around. Let's check it out. Oxy. Ooh, it is. Yeah, I had that drop at market open. Looks like it's consolidating a little bit now, like right at that 100 SMA. Yeah, not too bad, J Deep. Pretty crazy to see how Warren Buffett just keeps buying up Oxy. Like he just knows that it's going to go up to like $100 a share or something. Like, I don't know what's going on, but hey, he keeps buying it and he's still up on his average price. Let me go back to the Thinkorswim news tab really quickly here because let's see, I can type in Oxy. I saw something. It said something about his average price. Here we go. He bought 9.55 million shares at an average price of $55.36. So yeah, that's still up above where we are now. 55.36 was somewhere yesterday, I guess. So, or the past few weeks, obviously. But yeah, not good, guys. I will say the SPY is selling off. We're having the SPY start to sell down right now. Not a good move on this SPY. Does not look good at all on the 1 minute chart. It is starting to really pull off now. Right off of that big 378 resistance in pre-market. It just keeps falling down off of that. So be careful today, guys. I know some sectors are starting to pop like Baba and etc. But maybe expect some red to start creeping in here. With the way that SPY is looking, it's not starting to look the best on Baba and a lot of these other stocks. It's starting to get pretty rough here in the shorter term. So keep that in mind, guys. But yeah, there's been some pretty insane plays, to say the least here. Hang on 1 second, guys. Alrighty. Alright, just getting back to my watch list here. Let's see good old LI. Today, are they still moving or are they falling back? Yeah, they are starting to consolidate, fall back down a little bit more here, unfortunately. Like J Deep said, Oxy was trying to turn around. I'd love to see them start to pop back up today, especially with the SPY turning back over a little bit. It'd be nice to see some oil plays start popping or DraftKings or something like that. Let's go back to DraftKings. Yeah, it's not really starting to pull back down now. Intel's pulling down. Let me see good old Kraft Heinz. Hey, Kraft is actually holding up pretty well, guys. I will say Kraft is one of my favorite stocks out there. I know it's a very slow mover, and it might pull back to $30 or something like that if the market rips down over the next few months or whatever. But I really like this stock. It pays a decent dividend, and I've been holding it for a while now. So I also caught a pretty good uptrend with it for a while, but ended up not selling out, of course. Holding for that dividend. I will say I don't think the dividend was worth not selling on that uptrend though. That was a pretty. Let's see, I was in at like $35. It was nice, like 28, almost 30% pop on the stock. Not bad there. Not bad at all. Let's go back to the SPY though, really quickly, guys. Check that one out. Yeah, she is. Yeah, still pulling over a little bit. I was hoping to maybe see some green coming back in, but still just kind of consolidating down here at the bottom. Definitely not having the type of movement that, I'd be hoping for, at least, out of the SPY. I would hope to have a lot better movement than this, but it's all right. You know, we can't always have green days. I will say that. Always have to have some red mixed in. I know the Bears they'll be feasting today, I guess we'll say. Let's see what stocks are down in the red though, kind of dragging this market down. I see Redbox down. I'm not saying that's dragging the market down, but I did notice, guys, Redbox has been on a big tear back to the downside after that recent explosion. Like, had that big explosion up to like $18. Ever since that one day, it really fell off the table. So pretty crazy to see how much that one fell down. I was actually watching it hit off of $18 too, and it was pretty crazy to see it falling down. But yeah, lots of stocks that are affecting the market today. Tesla is affecting the market. I'm going through my watch list here, and you know, a lot of the airlines are down, cruise lines are down. I mean, it's a pretty bad day for those types of plays. I know Sean Cornish is going to be upset today. Big cat back down in the red, more like big red, like that old bubble gum or whatever. They're in the red. AMD's red. Nvidia's been running down. What else we got? We have Rivian down in the red again. Yeah, just not a good day, guys. Let me go see the heat map really quick. Let's open up that map. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Let's see. So actually, I mean, you know, some of these looks like more green than I was expecting to see personally here on the heat map. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I don't know, more green than I was expecting personally. Yeah. I mean, obviously the semiconductor sector looks like one of the worst sectors today. It looks like the farming sector is also just not holding up well enough here. We have cat, deer, John Deere, I guess, down. Looks like it's only showing a few stocks out of the sector, but yeah, still, that's not good. Financials are down today. We obviously have Visa and MasterCard look okay, but you know, the big banks are down a little bit all across the board. Utilities are doing well. Let's see, healthcare. I don't know. You guys like this heat map? I like this map. It's pretty nice. Here we go. Consumer products is looking pretty nice. Let's see. Let's see over here. Yeah, I mean, not bad actually. I'll take this. I know yesterday people were talking about MO being down quite a bit. Looks like they're doing okay today. Philip Morris is up a little bit. We have KO, Pepsi, Lowe's, Nike, McDonald's, Starbucks, residential construction companies. They're up a lot today. I don't know what's up with construction companies, guys, but man, like, I don't know what these companies, I've never even really traded those too much. Like DHI, Bed Bath and Beyond's up 2 or Best Buy, I mean, 2.4%. That's pretty big. Pretty big there, not bad. Huh. Yeah, interesting movement today, guys, out of the market overall. Very interesting. Let's see that. We got some healthcare stocks in the green. Yeah, a lot of healthcare is actually in the green, believe it or not. Aerospace and defense, mixed. But yeah, the banks are down a little bit. I think the main stuff driving the market down today is like Tesla. Yeah, I would say like Tesla. A lot of the reopening plays. Like I said, those airlines are down a ton. It's not really showing the airline sector here on here really anywhere, is it? They're doing a bad job with this heat map. They're not showing any airlines, but yeah, I guess they'd be over here somewhere. Let's see. I don't know. There's the traveling. Here's the. Oh, here we go. They're really small. CCL, RCL. They don't even have like any airlines on here, which is a little bit upsetting to me. But yeah, nonetheless, it's been a very mixed day across the board, as you can see. But that SPY is just slowly but surely selling off. We can still come back. Oh, wow, it did come back. There we go. Glad to see it coming back here. Yeah, we got pretty low there for a second, but glad to see it coming back here. Like I said, we could come back. This really mixed movement. I will say a lot of bigger stocks were down, I noticed, but let's see how Apple and Microsoft. Yeah, there we go. They got some bounces back up now. Glad to see that, guys. Yeah, there we go. Microsoft's having a really nice bounce off that 1,000 SMA. Glad to see these stocks coming back because starting to look pretty scary there for a second. Let's see QQQ. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay. Okay, we'll take that movement, guys. We'll take that for sure. Sean goes, ketchup. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Ketchup. Glad to see them running today. Yeah, there goes Oxy coming back up, just like you said, J Deep. Not looking bad. He says he's watching 655 on LabU, then 730. What do you think? Let's see, LABU for good old Sean here. Let's see, 655. Yeah, I think that's a really good level to watch, Sean. I will say this stock has been really running up lately. I know you've been talking about this one a lot, and yeah, it's been doing quite well over the past like 5 days or so. But yeah, I would say if it breaks 655, Sean, I think that could be a pretty good chance to catch a nice run to the upside. And you said all the way up to 730, which is that big resistance up there. I would say look more for like a move up towards like 685, Sean, like 680. I think that'll be more of like a more of the level to watch there. But yeah, I think LabU looks pretty hot. You know, it's definitely been a hot stock this week, and if it does break, who knows? Like I said, a nice run up to 680. Let's see how big of a jump that'll be. It's nothing crazy, but you know, let's see. You catch like a nice like 3%, 3.7% move out of the stock. That'll be a pretty good move with the option. I would think if we could get up to 680, almost 7. George says Uno reverse. Uno, is that the stock Uno? Is that what you meant? Yeah, Uno's going up. I don't know if you meant Uno reverse as in like the stock Uno. I mean, I don't know what kind of Uno Restaurant Corp. I don't know what this is. It looked like it was actually having some pretty good intraday movement though. Is this the stock messing up or is this my Thinkorswim? Oh, okay, I think that was the stock. Yeah, I don't think there is an Uno. He definitely meant Uno reverse like the SPY reversing. Yeah, it was pretty weird that we had a big reversal there. Market was dipping down for a second. And, you know, just keep in mind, we see this happen a lot at market open. Hunter says, morning, Tomas Tenders. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he goes, Uno reverse. It's just a joke. Yeah, that's what I figured, George. That's what I figured. That's what I figured. I didn't catch on. I didn't catch on. I missed it at first. It was funny because I typed in Uno and a chart came up and showed a stock trading at $6, but I think it was still showing me LabU. But it just said Uno at the top. That was funny though. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Hunter, let me know what kind of stocks you're seeing this morning. You know, the market's mixed across the board. I know you talked about MO selling off a lot. I noticed they were coming up a little bit today. I saw Philip Morris was looking a lot better today than MO was. Looking at that like daily chart, kind of like MO is had that big drop, Hunter. I mean, that was just nuts. But you know, we saw PM hold up fine, which was interesting. You know, they're both tobacco companies, but yeah, I guess it affects, or whatever Biden said yesterday affected MO a little bit more. I thought I heard something about some crazy nicotine in cigarettes or something like that. Hunter says Baba was ripping. Yeah, it was. Oh, wow, it even kept going. Yeah, we were watching it at open up to like 112. It started really consolidating there for a little while, but yeah, there we go. Kept on going. We're now up above 112, which is nice, and yeah, running up to even 113 today at the high. So not too bad, not too shabby at all. Not bad any by any means. So yeah, glad to see that. Hunter says I think it was the Jewel thing and MO bought them a while ago. Oh, okay. I didn't even know there was any news with Jewel yesterday. That was funny. Let's see. Mike Chang says, I know you and Mike are big Mustang fans, but you guys own a Tesla also. And what do you think about the Mustang EV? So, I know I'm a big Mustang fan. I'm not sure that, honestly, I'm not too sure Mike is a big Mustang fan or not. I know Mike likes Jeeps and stuff like that quite a bit. But yeah, I will say, I am a big Mustang fan, of course. I'm just a muscle car fan in general. I like Mustangs, Challengers, Corvettes, Camaros. I like anything that's, you know, cool looking. He also, but he said you guys own a Tesla also. What do you think about the Mustang EV? So personally, with the Mustang EV, I don't think it's not my favorite thing out there. Um, the issues I have with the Mustang EV, at least the current one, is that obviously they made it into like an SUV, and I don't like that. I think that over the next few years they're gonna come out with a Mustang that's gonna have an actual sports car look to it, and it's gonna be electric. Now I think whenever that comes out, I'll like that a lot more. Personally though, Mike, right now I don't like the Mustang EV that's out. Like let's just get a look at it. Like like it is not the best, guys. I'm telling you, it's oh. I mean, like, how could you? I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Like, I'm not saying how could you not like how could you like it? I'm not saying like how could you or anything. Like, obviously, it looks pretty good, especially this yellow. You know, the red. I've seen some people I know buy one actually, and I've seen some in person, and you know, it's just not my style. You know, I'm not a big fan of like those big SUVs that like for example, like I'm not a big fan of this, the Lamborghini Urus. So like I'm not like a big fan of like this Lamborghini. Like lots of people have been like loving that like Lambo, BMW M SUV. Like you know they make these BMW M series SUVs. Like I like this. If I was gonna buy any SUV, I think I'd buy something like that personally. That's just my thoughts about the Mustang though. I really like, for example, I have a let's see, I have a 2016 Mustang GT blue. This is pretty much my car right here, except my car has two white stripes going down the middle, and it has different color wheels. But yeah, this is pretty much my car right there. See, I just think that looks like a lot sportier than like you know the Mustang EV. You know, I think that just looks a lot sportier. Now, I think that they're going to be coming out with a sports car version of it. Kind of like here's like a little like rendering of one. I think this is going to be really cool here, Mike. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I think that this Mustang EV, like if they come out with this will go over I think a lot better with consumers. But yeah, GT car. And Mustang's also getting into the GT um racing as well. So yeah, Mustang's getting into like GT racing too, and they've unveiled that they're gonna get into like the Le Mans series, like with the Corvettes and stuff like that. They're gonna make some pretty like tricked out Mustangs, kind of like this one, you know, like with the spoilers and like the body kits and everything like that to like help it obviously run a little bit better. Like there's like some weird renderings of some, but yeah, I think that those types of cars are a lot better. But yeah, that's my opinion on the Mustang EV. I think the Teslas are a little bit cooler. You know, like you look at like a Tesla model, let's just say X. You know, just picking the X because I think it has the cool doors. You know, like you pick the Model X, like obviously it's not going to be maybe as cool looking maybe as like the Mustang on the outside or something, but you know, you get those cool doors opening, you get the cool screen, you know, you get all the cool features Tesla has. It has like that different look to it, and you get the name Tesla. You know, it's just a lot different. I hate to say it, but Ford's brand name is it's it hasn't been the best unfortunately. And like I'm a big Mustang fan, so I you know, but you know what I mean. Ford is just nothing like Tesla right now, or like BMW or Mercedes or Ferrari or you know those cars are just elevated a little bit higher. You know, obviously. We have George saying CrowdStrike looks good too. Let's see, good old CRWD CrowdStrike today. Yeah, 3.87%. Actually, the daily on CrowdStrike. I really like that setup with the daily, George. I think that looks pretty good down there. And yeah, it's breaking out here as well on the intraday. So yeah, I love that setup, George. Great movement there. Glad to see that. Oh man. Yeah, that's a really nice pop up today, I'll say. Let me know any other stocks you guys are seeing because we will definitely check those out. Hunter said earlier regarding the thing with MO, it's something with the Juul situation that went on. I didn't even know there was a Juul situation yesterday, but yeah, that's definitely pretty crazy. Maybe that was the thing with nicotine and cigarettes. Maybe he was going after nicotine in the e-cigarettes and I read it wrong. Maybe that's what it was. And I'm sure that's what it was, something with Juuls and nicotine, because I know people have been dogging on that stuff forever. George also says DDOG is up 7%. Yeah, that looks pretty good still, actually. Not good. Or not bad, actually. I'll take that. Pretty good movement so far, up to, let's see, like 98.45. Yeah, I mean, really not bad at all. I'll take that. Take that all day long. J Deep says things are looking bearish now. Oh no, are they? Let's see. SPY. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking too good, not too bad. Let's see. We have Apple running up 1%. We have Microsoft up. Yeah. J Deep says eyeing Tesla puts. Yeah, I think Tesla could end up turning back over a little bit more, J Deep. I don't think that's too bad of a play, honestly. I think we could end up retesting that low of day at some point. Obviously be careful, but I think that's not a bad play at all. Let's go actually see here how Powell is doing this morning, guys. Let's see how good old Powell is doing.
Discussions. The Fed should be focused on price stability. That should be their single-minded focus at this moment in time. It's out of touch for Democrats to keep pushing.
This guy looks like he's wearing some crazy stuff here today, guys.
Struggling to feed themselves and to get work.
We won't leave this on all day today again, but figured I'd turn it on for a minute.
It needs to focus on the middle class, not the chirping political class. This was true before inflation broke out. It's all the more obvious to today. I hope that Chair Powell will deliver that message to his colleagues throughout the institution. And again, I want to thank Chair Powell.
And guys, don't forget to smash that like button today, of course.
With policymakers on the Hill.
Always helps out the stream and everything like that. You know, that like button helps more than you guys think. More than you guys know, I think. I mean, yeah, it really helps push the streams. And of course, comments and everything like that help as well. Let me know down below how you feel
Madam Chair,
Powell has done regarding this crazy inflation situation. Let me know if you guys think Powell's done bad, done good. Let me know if you think transitory was kind of bullshit, or if you think now it's kind of getting back more normal. Yeah, just let me know, because you know there's lots of different opinions out there. And
Powell,
personally, I think
on your confirmation.
he waited way too long to raise rates. Now, I'm not too upset with it, but I will say I think he just waited way too long, unfortunately.
In the first quarter of 2009 to think of a moment that was quite as important as Americans watched the economy collapse around their ears and their jobs and assets being lost. There is a very real possibility that Americans will be caught in a vice, an economic vice, not of their own making, between inflation, which makes their everyday lives unaffordable, and the possibility, much contemplated by economists, of a recession. Simply put, as one of the last members of Congress to get out of the chamber when it was under attack on January 6, 2021, I don't believe that our democracy can sustain either runaway inflation or another recession. And despite the rhetoric you'll hear all day today here, there's not a lot that we can or will do. Much of this rests on your shoulders. So, Chairman Powell, I just ask that as you make your decisions, you think not just of the numbers and the economics, but of the importance of sustaining this nation's democracy.
Thank you, Mr. Himes. I now recognize the ranking member of the Subcommittee on National Security, International Development, and Monetary Policy, the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Barr, for 1 minute to give an opening statement.
As we face the worst inflation the country has seen in 4 decades, I am encouraged to have Mr. Powell leading our central bank, and I'm hopeful the Fed will rise to the occasion. At the same time, it's important to remember the following. Just last year, Democrats were ignoring inflation warnings to pass a $2 trillion
We'll hear what this guy says.
They were pushing the Fed.
Maybe we'll hear Powell's opening remark, and then we'll get right back to the stocks here. If you guys have seen anything move, just let me
Today,
know.
as gas prices top $5 a gallon.
Yeah, Bick says, hi, Tom, what do you think of Apple? Calls or puts? Yeah, let's get back into Apple here really quickly, excuse me. Yeah, Apple's looking pretty good. When I say pretty good, it's holding up a lot better than some other stocks are today. So here's what I'm looking at today with Apple. We ran up, we just had lower highs here in the morning. We pulled back, now we're bouncing right off of this 100 SMA. So, and that 100 SMA, keep in mind, is also right around like a pretty big intraday support around like 136.45.
Chair
So I'm
Powell, I
really
hope you are
watching
hammering this message home
for
to the
another
Fed
possible
as
move
ordinary
back
Americans
up
see
here.
their paychecks
Now, if I
eaten
see
away
another move
under
back to the
Democrat
upside right here and we
mismanagement of
start
our
to break
economy.
back out, I'm going to go bullish on Apple, and I think it'll be a good time to get calls if you start to see that movement turn back up. At the same time, though, at this specific time, we're starting to see the SPY go a little bit lower. We're seeing other stocks like Microsoft also sell off slightly. Tesla was selling off a little bit earlier as well. So as far as Apple goes today, Bick, it's very in the middle. I think it can go either way. You know, I think that right now, if we continue to see this movement up, I think it'll be a good call play and we might end up breaking out. But if we turn over here and we start to see us break below this leg of like 136.40, then I will go ahead and play some puts to the downside. There is another support down here on 136. Another one down here also pretty close to like 135.65. So that's my opinions right there on Apple. George says AI wants to break out. Let's see, good old AI. Yeah, it's trying. Trying, George. There we go. Good call out there. She's definitely trying to run up here. Pretty tough play today, though, I will say. It's a tough one, but yeah, she is definitely trying to run up there. Having a pretty good move. Let's see DraftKings really quick. Zoom. Palantir. Let's see, what's leading my watch list today? Snowflake's up 9% and Asana's up 7%. Let's see. Wow, look at Snowflake today, guys. That is big. Snowflake and Asana. Asana, guys, is a really good runner today. This one's been running up almost all morning. We missed this one a little bit, guys. Fastly is another one, pretty much straight up. We have Unity running up a lot. Guys, this is actually pretty big here. Pretty big. I know Baba's just holding up. They're having running. Square is having another huge explosion, guys. Like, this is a big move to the upside. I mean, guys, we're starting to see some pretty good breakouts.
Foreign economies, as discussed in a box in the June Monetary Policy Report. Overall economic activity edged down in the first quarter as unusually sharp swings in inventories and net exports more than offset continued strong underlying demand. Recent indicators suggest that real GDP growth has picked up this quarter, with consumption spending remaining strong. In contrast, growth in business fixed investment appears to be slowing, and activity in the housing sector looks to be softening, in part reflecting higher mortgage rates.
Can you guys hear him good? I feel like he's quiet today.
Conditions that we have seen in recent months should continue to temper growth and help bring demand into better balance with supply. The labor market has remained extremely tight, with the unemployment rate near a 50-year low, job vacancies at historic highs, and wage growth elevated. Over the past 3 months, employment rose by an average of 408,000 jobs per month, down from the average pace seen earlier in the year, but still robust. Improvements in labor market conditions have been widespread, including for workers at the lower end of the wage distribution, as well as for African Americans and Hispanics. A box in the June Monetary Policy Report discusses developments in employment and earnings across all major demographic groups. Labor demand is very strong, while labor supply remains subdued, with the labor force participation rate little changed since January. The Fed's monetary policy actions are guided by our mandate to promote maximum employment and price stability for the American people. My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship, especially on those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials, like food, housing, and transportation. We're highly attentive to the risks that high inflation poses to both sides of our mandate, and we're strongly committed to returning inflation to our 2% objective. Against the backdrop of the rapidly evolving economic environment, our policy has been adapting, and it will continue to do so. With inflation well above our longer-run goal of 2% and an extremely tight labor market, we raised the target range for the federal funds rate at each of our past 3 meetings, resulting in a 1.5 percentage point increase in the target range so far this year. The committee reiterated that it anticipates that ongoing increases in the target range will be appropriate. In May, we announced plans for reducing the size of our balance sheet and shortly thereafter began the process of significantly reducing our securities holdings. Financial conditions have been tightening since last fall and have now tightened significantly, reflecting both policy actions that we have already taken and anticipated actions. Over coming months, we will be looking for compelling evidence that inflation is moving down, consistent with inflation returning to 2%.
All right, Powell, you better
We
find some
anticipate that ongoing rate
consistent
increases will be
downwards
appropriate.
movement with
The pace of
inflation, or
those
I'm going to be
changes will
upset with you.
continue to depend on the incoming data and the evolving outlook for the economy. We will
Vic
make our decisions
says,
meeting by
Vic,
meeting. and we
glad
will
to
continue
see
communicate
some
our thinking as clearly
nice
as possible.
questions
Our
with Tesla
overarching
here.
focus
What are
is
your
using our
key?
tools to bring
What are the
inflation
key
back
levels
down to
on
our 2%
Tesla? Thank
goal
you, Tom.
and
Let's
to keep
see.
longer-term inflation
Good old Tesla
expectations
here,
well under.
Tessie.
Making
Ooh,
appropriate
we're
monetary
back above
policy in this
700.
uncertain
I think
environment
700 is going to
requires a
be pretty
recognition
big today,
that
Bic.
the economy
I know
often
that we
evolves in
blasted
unexpected
under
ways.
700 momentarily,
Inflation has
but I think
brought big
700
surprise to
will
the
be
upside
pretty
over the
good.
past year, and further surprises could be in store.
I think 700 will be the
We
main
therefore
support
will need
level
be
to
nimble
watch now that
in
we
responding
are
to
back
incoming
up
data
above
and
it.
the evolving outlook.
As far as
We will
resistance
strive to
overhead,
avoid
intraday,
adding
I'm seeing
uncertainty in what is
710.
already an
That,
extraordinarily
excuse me,
challenging and uncertain
710 will probably end up holding up as a
We're
pretty
highly
big level
attentive to
there.
inflation risks
So that's going to
and
be pretty
determined to take
big.
the measures
And then I
necessary
also
to
think
restore
that like
price stability.
720 after
The
that
American economy
will be the
is
next
very
major
strong
level.
and
But
well-positioned to
710
handle
and
a
720
modest
today with
economy.
Tesla are my resistances. I think
To conclude, we
700 will be a
understand that
good
our actions
support,
affect
and then
communities, families,
obviously
and businesses
690
across the
will
country.
be a good
Everything
support
we do is in service to
just
our public
under
mission.
that.
We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals.
The Fed will do everything they can to achieve
And I
price
look forward to
stability.
your questions.
Thank you very much, Chairman Powell. Chair Powell,
Uh-oh.
at your Senate confirmation hearing,
It's Maxine
you were
Waters.
asked about the possibility that inflation is being driven by
Yesterday we had
corporations
Elizabeth
in
Warren.
concentrated sectors of the economy. You said, and I quote, "That could be right. It could also just be, though, the demand is incredibly strong and that, they're raising prices because they can," quote unquote. We're all seeing and feeling the effects of inflation on consumer pocketbooks.
No problem, Vic. No
But
problem.
corporate profit margins are not hurting.
Not
In
a problem
2021,
at
the profit
all.
margins of the S&P 500 index surpassed 12%, the highest profit margin on record, and is expected to be even higher in 2020. Corporate greed and consolidation.
Sean, I'm not
are
going to
driving
lie. I
higher
thought the
and higher
same
prices of
exact
consumers
thing,
above
Sean.
and beyond
I'm not going to
inflationary
lie.
pressures. This last quarter,
That is
Tyson
funny.
Foods, which sells one out of every
J Deep says,
5
damn,
pounds of
Powell's
meat
pushing the
sold in
Bulls.
United States,
Izzy, let's
claimed
see.
that their higher
Is that
prices
spy
are
up
due
today?
to rising labor
Yeah,
and freight costs.
there it goes. She's
Yet,
running back
they
up on
still
that 1
managed to
minute.
net an additional
I'm hoping the
$500
spy can get up
million
today,
in
guys. I'll be
quarterly
honest. It
profit.
doesn't look like a bad
When it
play.
comes to
I think
rent,
this looks like a
corporate
pretty
landlord recently
decent play
remarked,
back to the
and I
upside,
quote,
honestly. I
"We
think
have
that
an
there's a good chance that it might be able to
really press
go
rents
up.
on
You know, like it's
renewals
obviously like
because
I
the
don't think that
country
there's
is
like a
highly occupied.
100%
And
chance
so,
of this happening,
where are
but
people going to
the
go?
way the setup's
They
looking,
can't
I
go
think it's looking
anywhere.
okay.
We have a tremendous opportunity to press both on renewing leases for existing residents and to reset market rates, which we've reset numerous times, even this year, end of quote. This kind of blatant
Yeah, I think I'm with you,
profiteering
J-Deep.
on the backs of hard
Yesterday, all
families
morning
is
during this
simply
meeting, the market
outrageous.
just went straight
Could
up.
you elaborate on the role that corporations play in setting prices and how that is affecting inflationary pressures today? Would you also elaborate on what you meant when you said perhaps corporations are raising prices, quote, because they can?
Sure. So matters of concentration in the economy represent a series of interesting questions that are largely not settled. For one thing, it is clear that our economy has become more concentrated, largely due to lower levels of formation of smaller businesses. That has happened. It is not at all clear that there's a connection between a more concentrated economy and, for example, inflation. And of course, matters of corporate concentration are outside the jurisdiction of the Fed. Those are for the competition authorities and really not for us to discuss. In terms of why prices are going up, I think a lot of it has been, a lot of the places where prices have gone up quite a bit have been situations where supply is constrained and demand is very strong. And so take cars, for example. The demand for cars went up a great deal during the pandemic. People wanted to ride in cars rather than public transportation, and they wanted to move to the suburbs and things like that. Rates were low. The economy was stronger than people expected. but the companies couldn't really make more cars because they couldn't raise their output because of the lack of semiconductors. So when demand hits fixed supply, what happens is prices go up and margins went up. And so I think as the economy returns to normal, we would expect those profit margins to return to more normal levels.
Well, Chairman Powell, the example that I gave of Tyson, who said their prices were rising because of labor and freight costs, and yet they managed to net an additional $500 million quarterly profits.
I apologize. I'm having a hard time hearing your words. I'm sorry.
Okay. The example that I gave of Tyson
She took her
Foods,
mask off.
and the fact that they said
that was funny.
their prices were rising.
Oh, they did,
due to
George,
labor
did
and
they?
freight costs.
Did they replace
Yet
her? I didn't
managed to
notice.
Net an additional $500 million in quarterly profits. How do you explain that?
Oh man.
I'm not familiar with their profit and loss statement, but
Oh, they
will say
did.
that,
They
again,
replaced
There
her.
may be particular industries where there are
No.
competition issues. I don't know that. It's really not.
That was
our
the
focus or
highlight
our
of my
authority.
morning.
Well, do you
no,
have
I'm
the
just joking.
opportunity to look at rising costs and identify corporations where they are gaining substantial profits, yet they keep raising their prices? Do you have a way of examining that?
I think we can see that, but I think, our job is to keep.
He's getting grilled right
maximum
now.
employment and price stability. So we're not in the business of.
Yeah, I
regulating
like him
individual
too, Garden.
companies,
He's my favorite.
or determining whether their actions, for example, are anti-competitive or that sort of thing. That's more for elected people and also for the competition authorities. So we do look at that, but again, I think a great deal of the price increases that you saw were a matter of supply being unable to meet demand, and the result was prices moving up. In many cases, that was the story.
Thank you very much. The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry, who is the ranking member of the committee, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would, on this debate about corporate profits, I would commend to the committee Secretary Yellen's statement where she rejects the idea of corporate greed is to blame for inflation, and I concur. We have a complex set of issues. The fiscal house was certainly different than monetary policy.
Man, he got grilled there by
nature
her.
of the partisan American Rescue Plan, and $2 trillion injected into a recovering economy, and Democrat policies to keep people out of the workforce for longer than the rest of the Western world also contributed to inflation. So that is a political debate here on Capitol Hill, Chairman Powell, and that is on the political side. What I want to ask you about are the policy tools that you are using. Now, certainly you, as chair of the Fed,
This
and
guy
Open
said
Markets
it
Committee,
exactly right.
took
There's so much
extraordinary
politics
measures in the
going
midst
on.
of the pandemic to ensure that we didn't have further contagion, and including extraordinary lending facilities, purchasing securities, keeping the federal funds rate at zero. These were the right tools at the right time. On the fiscal side, you had to partner with bipartisan bills to keep our economy afloat during government shutdowns. But like all the good firefighting measures, we should put them away when times change.
Go back in
I
and
wanna
check
talk
in
to
on
you
that
as you
spy
put
real quick.
these measures away,
Check
how
back
you
in here.
expect the economy to respond. So let's start here. What is your
John
level
says,
of
I think
commitment
old J
to
Powell's
fight
in a no-win
inflation?
situation. He's making decisions off of an
So,
awfully
it's
skewed
unconditional, a commitment is,
CPI.
and the reason is
Yeah, I
that,
agree. I think it's definitely skewed as well.
we need to, in a particular situation, we have
And I think that they know
a
it's
labor
skewed.
market that's sort of unsustainably
I
high.
will say, though,
We have
Sean,
very
they
far
did
from
have one
inflation
issue where
levels.
they
We really
didn't
need
raise
to
rates quick
restore
enough.
price stability
They
to get
could have
inflation
been
back
raising
down to
rates
2%.
faster,
Because without that,
and they
we're not going to
didn't.
be able to have
And
a
I think they should
sustained
have been,
period
but
of maximum
it's
employment,
okay.
where the benefits are
The
spread
employment
very
stuff, I
widely and
think,
where
is
people's
what,
wages aren't being eaten up by inflation.
I think
Really,
some
it's
employment
something that
stuff
we
was
need to
why
do,
they
we
didn't.
must
But
do.
still, I mean, like you
In
said,
order
it was
to-
all
to
skewed,
have
so they
that
were
kind of
going off
labor market, we'll
messed
need
up
to do it.
data anyway.
So as you pull back these emergency measures,
There we go. DraftKings getting
from
closer to $13,
COVID,
guys.
and
I'll
you
take that.
normalize rates to what they
Zoom's
look
running.
like sort of in the
Looks
long
like
run.
Palantir.
How do you expect the
It
economy
broke out
to
for a
respond?
second. Now it's pulling back down. Snowflake's now
when
up
we raise interest
10%, and
rates,
Asana's up
and also
8.5%.
to a lesser
Those ones
extent
kept
when
running,
the
guys. I
balance
mean,
sheet,
those things are on
shrinks.
fire. Like
What happens
Snowflake.
is rates go
What is
across
up with
the
you,
economy, and
Snowflake,
financial
today?
conditions
Like, whoa.
generally tighten. And you can think of it as in interest-sensitive spending
Wow.
is an important place
Wow,
to
wow,
be
wow.
affected,
Snow.
and that's things like
That is
automobiles
a
and other
big
durable
move,
goods.
Snowflake.
If rates are higher, then demand for cars will moderate, will decline a bit. The second channel would be asset prices generally. We don't target any particular asset prices, but higher interest rates tend to bring them down broadly. That tends to mean a little bit less spending out of because people's wealth has perhaps declined a little bit. And the third channel can be the exchange rate, where
Over 10%.
it also
That
has
is insane.
disinflation effects. So overall, we have these effects on the economy. Our intent, of course, is to bring inflation down to 2% while preserving a strong labor market. As I've mentioned, that has become significantly more challenging with the events of the past few months, particularly the war, which is driving gas prices up and raising energy prices and also food prices and disrupting supply chains further.
So at the same time, you have a massive balance sheet. First begin with mortgage-backed securities. As we have a roll-off of the Fed's balance sheet of mortgage-backed securities, what are expectations for how that affects housing?
So I think what will affect housing is the rate. The housing industry and market are slowing down from a very, very hot pace, and that's partially because of higher mortgage rates. The effects of shrinking the balance sheet will be marginal compared to the effects that we're seeing and expect to continue to see from rates rising mortgage rates.
But what are your expectations and any further announcements? Can we expect further announcements on the assets you hold and the securities you hold? Or are there going to be balance sheet announcements in the coming weeks?
No, I would say this. We have a plan. We've articulated it. The markets are forward-looking. They see it, and the markets are in a good place, I think, understanding what we're going to do, and that's we're going to be allowing these securities to mature and run off our balance sheet at a pace that we've said, and it'll be 90 or 95 billion, I guess, by September. Now it's about half of that. So that's what we've done, and we expect, the idea is that that'll just be on an ongoing basis in the background, and we think the markets can handle that. Treasury issuance is way down, so we think there will be demand for these securities. The Treasury will then reissue them in whatever form they think is appropriate when it relates to Treasuries. So,
thank you.
All
The
righty.
gentleman from New York, Mr. Meeks, who is also the chair of the House Committee on
There
Foreign
we go.
Affairs, is now recognized for.
Enough of Powell today, guys. Thanks for joining up, of course, for the live streams. Of course, if you have anything else you want me to check out this morning, definitely let me know. But yeah, so far today, I mean, just Powell's talking. We have Snowflake running. Asana was moving up with Snowflake earlier. What's this? What did I just hear? Keisha says the FDA just banned Juul e-cigs. Uh-oh, that means MO and PM probably gonna end up going down today, guys. Not good. I think Hunter said MO owned that stuff going on. Let's see if we can find that. Is there some? There it is. Boom. There's the headline right there. FDA bans Juul e-cigarettes. Wow, that is pretty insane, guys. Pretty insane. Can't believe they're banning that. I mean, they let it go for so long. I'm not saying I disagree with it, because I think that they're bad, but yeah, it's definitely not good. Another thing I'm worried about is I feel like whenever you look at e-cigarettes, like I remember whenever I was in high school, man, almost everybody did e-cigs at the time. Hell, I'll be honest, I smoked an e-cig for like, for like a month, and then I got rid of it. But, it's like one of those weird things where like, I feel like everybody and their brother for a minute was doing that. I don't know why it became so popular, but yeah, it was bad. You don't even have to have nicotine in them to do them, which is weird. But yeah, nonetheless, they're banning it, it looks like. We'll have to read into this a little bit. But Yeah, it looks like they rejected some of the flavored products sent in by companies and stuff. Looks like the flavoring stuff is bad. Huh. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Very weird, guys. Let me know how you guys feel about these e-cig things over here. I know that they're definitely strange, you know. I mean, they're not my favorite things ever. I remember for like I think they've started to die off, but for like a couple years, I remember seeing like puffs of smoke everywhere you went. You know, you'd see like big clouds all over the place, and you know, you'd be seeing some pretty crazy stuff like everywhere. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to check any other stocks out or anything like that before we go ahead and end the stream today. We'll check out some more plays here. I know I was looking at DraftKings earlier. They're having a lot of issues trying to break out above $13. Yeah, it's insane. I can't believe how much trouble they're having breaking out here. That is a pretty big issue, actually. Yeah, it's just failing to break out. Maybe it'll break out later, guys. Just throw it on your watch list. You might be able to catch a good play on this one later on today. I feel like the price action on it looks pretty good. You look at like that 1 year daily chart. It's holding up okay. Go look at like OXY. Let's see OXY again. I know they were all over the place this morning. Are they dipping back? Are they coming back up for us, J-Deep? Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they tried for a minute. Now they're just still sitting down there at the lows. I noticed Smith & Wesson, guys, was up 4% today. Don't sleep on these guys. Don't sleep on them. SWBI with the big move. There we go. That could be big, guys. I mean, that gun legislation going through Congress can be big. I had to throw that in the Discord. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty big. I mean, honestly, I'm going to post the chart too, because that is a pretty big move today, honestly. That is a pretty big intraday pop there. We might be seeing some gun legislation start coming across the board, guys. And, you know, we're bouncing right off that $13 support there on that daily, right at that 1,000 SMA. Looks like they're going to be having earnings tonight. Earnings tonight on Smith & Wesson too, so don't forget about that one, guys. It's going to be an extremely risky play, but I think that for stock, like owning shares of this company, guys, I think it's a pretty good one to grab right now. I'm really contemplating like maybe grabbing like 100 shares before this earnings or something, just in case, because man, I mean, sometimes when you see these gun companies start having legislation come out, it gets insane, and it's a pretty big pop ahead of earnings there. I don't know what's going on with that one, but wow, that is a pretty big move. Glad to see that stock ripping like that, but yeah, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day today. Thank you for joining up. Of course, we were watching Powell for a while. You know, we got into a lot of breakout plays. Smith & Wesson's having a huge intraday move right now. I don't know what the hell's going on. But, yeah, nonetheless, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for joining up. And, yeah, might make some good profits today. If you guys make any good trades or anything, don't forget to throw it in the profits channel in the Discord. Mention the live stream, and I'll hop in there. But, yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your day. And hopefully the market comes back up for us.